Alright, here we go one last time for this video series. This is the Hareline Dubbin Fly Tying Material Kit, top 20 patterns for the beginner. Everything you need in one box to tie the top 20 patterns twice over. How about that? At least hook-wise. Plenty of material. Let's get right to it. For this pattern, we will be tying the Black Gnat dry fly. Wow, 57 pages. We are at the last stand here. Alright, Black Gnat dry fly. We will be continuing on with that size 18 dry fly hook. Our thread is a Veevus black 8/0. Body, we're going to be using that microfine dry fly dubbing black. The wing, we're going to be using that pear post wing white. And then that hackle is that Grizzly hen neck feathers again. So, sounds like a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and slide on over and check this out. Black Gnat dry fly. Once again, we are tying this on a size 18 dry fly hook. And we have the camera zoomed in almost about as close as I can get it, and I have the vise about as close as I can get it to the camera. So we are zoomed in quite a bit. Let's go ahead and secure that size 18 nice and level in our vise. Take your time doing so. Make sure it's in there nice and good. Let's grab our 8/0 black Veevus thread, and just like always, we're going to start this an eye's length behind the eye. Aye. I heard somebody say it. Alright, we'll take a few wraps towards the rear, and we will trim off our tag end. Continue our thread wraps all the way to the bend. We're going to pause right there. Park your thread on the near side of the hook because we're going to get our dub on. And what do we know about our dubbing? Well, we know it's a microfine dry fly dub. And we know that less is more or less. We're going to keep it sparse. Just a small little pitch right there. Just like that. Keeping it sparse, we're going to make a little dubbing noodle. We're going to twist this on one way. This is a size 18 hook. We're not covering a lot of real estate here on the shank. We're going to keep our dubbing noodle nice and tight. Starting at the rear, we'll work our way forward. And we're going to build up a slightly tapered body. Take this right at about to that halfway, just a little bit past halfway. And that's it. I like to call that the 1/3, 2/3, about the position for the wing. Just a little bit past halfway. Alright, we're going to tie in our wing next. And again, that wing is that pear post. We used this for that parachute earlier. And I'm just going to go ahead and trim off the ends just to give myself a nice clean edge. I'm going to use the lift and lower. I'm going to lift up on the thread, lower it down. Just like that. I'm going to take one wrap. Make sure we got it positioned on top. Let's slide this down. Now I can take a couple more locking wraps. Just like that. We'll trim off our excess up front. Nice and close. And we'll just clean that up a little bit, wrapping forward. And now we have our wing on the back. We're going to trim that off nice and even with the wing, or with the bend of the hook. Right, so we'll pinch down on that. Just like that. Now we have this whole nice big long piece to tie for our next one. Alright, we are on to our hackle. And for our hackle, for this one we are using pen neck grizzly hackle. Right, go ahead and advance all the way down towards the bottom. Not the smallest of the feathers, but something that's a little bit more appropriately sized. Looking for a head neck. It's about an inch and a half in length, thereabouts. Let's go ahead and find our base. We're going to find where that hackle turns into a kind of our softer fluff. Trim off that fluff, and we're going to do a small little notch on either side, our little high and tight. Notch and notch, just like that. Thread's right in front of that wing. Let's go ahead and tie this in, top side up, top side out, however you want to look at it. And make sure that the base of that quill, that feather, doesn't go past the eye of the hook. We'll wrap forward to right behind the eye of the hook now. Synchronize our watches, because at this point, it's hackle time. Grab our hackle feather with our hackle pliers right there at the hackle tip. Make sure we grab it in line by the quill. I'm going to wrap this forward. We want to keep these wraps touching, and that's going to break. That's our opportunity to silently swear in our own minds. If we have an audience. If nobody's there, then say whatever you want. We're going to do our best to take touching wraps, working our way forward, keeping that feather oriented as it palmers forward. Arg. Nobody ever said this was easy. It's a beginner pattern. I think there's a reason why they throw this at the last page of the book. It's a size 18. It's a dry fly. This is where you learn how to apply just the right amount of tension. Work your way forward. And at this point, I'm just going to go until I run out of feather, because I broke off a couple of times. Just like that, right up front. And at this point, I'm basically just a thread's width behind the eye. Nice close trim. And I think we're due for a whip finish. If you keep trapping your hackle on your whip finish, feel free to do some half hitches and use your half hitch tool. Really get in there nice and tight. And that is our black gnat dry fly. Let's add a little dab of the included Loon Outdoors water-based head cement. How do you pronounce it? Cement or cement? Depends on where you're from, I suppose. Okay, let's add a little drop right there on the head and let that soak into the thread. And that is going to be the black gnat dry fly. Size 18. Little wing on top, little hackle up front, little dry fly dubbing body. So we've got one little fiber. There we go. No problem. Alright, let's go ahead and, do another one. One last time for this video series. Set that one off to the side, and we'll get our, I like to think of a hook as a blank canvas. Alright, our size 18. And our thread again is a dot. The black. Alright, we'll start our thread an eye's length behind the eye. Trim off that tag end. We'll wrap towards the rear. Be careful on that tip of that hook. Park our thread on the near side. We'll grab our body material. Again, is that microfine dry fly dub. Sparse as narce, more or less. Just grab a little pinch. I mean, that's almost a lifetime supply in one little kit bag. Let's go ahead and start our dubbing noodle. One-way dub. Roll it off of the tips of your finger, off the tip of your pointer finger. Nice and tight, nice and close. There we go. And as I dub, I like to just kind of pat it down just to make sure everything's nice and tight. We're going to slightly build up a slightly tapered body, working our way to about that, just slightly past halfway point. I like that. Here we go. Nice little tapered body. We'll grab our parapost wing material. My little lift and lower technique. Just because we're tying a small fly, it doesn't mean we have to trim off our material right away and tie with the smallest little bits. So lift and lower, we'll get one full wrap over that. And just to minimize waste, I'm going to just cinch that down and make sure we have it parked on top. We'll just take a few more locking wraps. And we can trim off our excess up front. Nice and close, and we'll just clean that up before we trim off the back end. Alright, we'll park our thread right at that wing. And we'll trim that off. Right at about that hook's length. Alright. Let's find our hackle. Beautiful hen neck grizzly hackle. Find yourself a nice hackle, about an inch and a half in length. This one I think is just a little bit too big. There we go. We're going to trim off the fluff. Let's tie in our feather. We'll do one soft wrap to capture it. A few more locking wraps working our way forward. Alright, let's grab this little hackle feather. The hackle pliers by the hackle tip because it's hackle time. We'll just palmer this forward, keeping the barbs oriented in the same forward direction. And that's going to break off. Of course it would. There we go. Alright, third time is the charm. Wrap forward. Alright, one last time. Otherwise I might have to reset with a different feather. It keeps, at this point it just keeps slipping off. It's not breaking anymore. And this is edit-free live streaming. This is what really happens on Fly Tyers bench. Secure that bad boy down. A few locking wraps behind. Just in time. Beautiful. Took us a couple of extra breaths of fresh air to get that one, but we got it. Whip finish. Just like that. This off nice and close. Yeah, I think that turned out all right. A little drop of head cement. A little dab of glue, yeah. Use that Loon Outdoors water based. I think maybe I got some, maybe I didn't. There we go. Alright, let it soak in there, and that's going to be good to go. Let's go ahead and get this wing material back out of there. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, the Black Gnat dry fly. This will conclude the top 20 fly patterns for the beginners from the Hareline Dubbin material kit. This has been a lot of fun working with. We will make sure that I follow up with my my fellow veterans that I got these out to as part of a Project Healing Waters kind of reach out at home. Yeah, it was kind of, this whole program was based off of, we have veterans at home, we want them to tie flies. We normally meet every week at the local VA hospital here, and I normally teach woolly buggers every week to the incoming veterans, and we're not doing that right now because we are staying home. For those of you who are watching this in the future, I encourage you to go back and watch this whole video series. It's all going to be saved as a playlist. So, you know, for those who argue for or against material kits, I encourage you to pick one up and make your own decision for yourself. my personal opinion, and again, I am not being sponsored by Hareline for this. This is just an honest opinion. Yeah, this is an excellent little kit. If I were to make one recommendation, and that would be more hooks. But you have to start somewhere. There has to be a minimum, and I believe that minimum was absolutely met with this kit because I still have materials for days. It's just like a lifetime supply to just explore. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I want you all to stay healthy, stay safe, happy tying, and as always, tight lines. Peace.